Oh, I'm welcome to Workshop Wednesday. We are back again here to give you the information you need to know about growing your staging and design company. I love every Wednesday we get to come on here and just share some lessons learned and takeaways. And I get to do it with none other than our staging business advisor, Jennifer. So thanks for being here today, Jennifer.
Of course, always a pleasure. Super, super fun and love to be able to share value with our staging and design communities.
Yes, and we have a mission moving forward to take 1,000 staging and design businesses to 6 and 7 figures in their business. And this will allow the business owners some financial freedom in their life, because we know so many of you right now that are probably watching, you probably cannot see you actually not working in your business. But that can happen. And right now you might even say, I don't want to ever not work in my business. I love it. It's amazing. But believe me, there's going to be a time when you're like, okay, I'm ready for my staff to run the business. And so we're here to help you get there and walk you through those busy times, those slow times. And one of my favorite things is building team and building your staff and process and procedure and how to make that transition smooth. Having such a big part of my career history being in corporate America, I can bring in a lot of that into the small industry or the small business industry. So a lot of times, if you're a small business, you're not doing all the things that corporate does when they onboard people or hold them accountable with reviews and making sure that they're productive. That ball drops a lot of times in the staging industry because we're not a big business. We're not a big corporate business, but you have to use some of those principles. And today we're going to talk about productivity, which is a fun subject, especially right now when most of our staging companies are so busy and they probably are just barely getting a few minutes here and there to do things. But that's when you want to make sure that all your processes and procedures are in place, that they are doing the right things, that you as the leader of your business, or if you have a manager or someone in place, that they are enforcing all of your core values, what you're doing, your process procedure is happening, even when it's super busy. So Jennifer's going to talk us through 5 steps to maximize your business for superb productivity. So let's get into number 1. I love a good count up or count down. So number 1, always be learning.
Yes, always be learning. This is something that we hear Jana talk about all the time. We know that she is constantly in rooms where she is not the smartest person. And so that is always the encouragement that we have from HSRA, is to always be learning. And whether it's within the staging and design industry, or you're learning a new skill, or you're learning something that you're passionate about, always be learning and growing, always be stretching yourself, and encourage your team to do the same thing, because stagnation breeds disappointment, discouragement. It's like when you start feeling that I don't, whatever, I don't know. It's like you just don't want to go anymore. If you just try and figure out a way to learn something new, or find a better way to do something, a more effective way to do something, and encourage your staff as they're learning new things. Maybe they're doing some research on better ways to load the truck, or more efficient ways to load the truck, or more efficient ways to stage a house. We can, as business owners and as managers of companies, say to our teams, if you learn something new that you feel like is going to be important or beneficial to the team, I want you to come and share it with me. And if it's a good idea and we all together feel like this would be something that would be beneficial to us, we're going to implement this. We're going to test it out. We're going to try it and see if it works. And we're going to take maybe 30 days and try someone's new idea and see if it does make a huge difference in your productivity. but it gives some ownership to you, to your team, and helps everybody be on the same page. But really, Lori, I think the biggest thing that learning does is it staves off that stagnation. You can't be stagnant in your life if you're constantly learning new things. And if you're constantly pursuing those things that you're passionate about, whether they're business related or not, it's going to make you a more well-rounded person. And if you're a more well-rounded person, you're going to show up and deliver more at that 100% level. So definitely always be learning.
For sure. And a couple thoughts I have for that. I know I'm real cheesy and corny sometimes, but don't be stagnant. That's stagnant. Don't be stagnant in your business. But even let's just think about when you go to the movies, right? You can come up with so many ideas about things, or it takes you to a place. And so I think one good tip I would recommend for the business owner to do is either pay for your staff to have an Audible account, or if they already do, give them credits to books, and you guys listen and or read books together every month. So number one, for your logistics team, they could be listening while they're driving. They could be listening while they're unloading or loading. Like all they need to do is play it, and have on your WhatsApp or whatever platform that you use. And when you hear, as the business owner, a good nugget, they know you're reading / listening to it too. You put that nugget in the group chat and say, hey, update on the book. Like Just One More by Ed Milet is our book of the month. I think it's just one more. Amazing book. I have literally, I was reading it about a week ago, or listening to it, because that's what I do. And there was such a great part, and I screen recorded it and sent it to Jana. I'm like, this is so good. Like, so if you do that, it's twofold. One, you're helping not so much change their mindset, but mold their mindset, right? Two, you're interacting, you're building rapport with your team. You're showing them that you believe in them, that this is a good point, and you're interacting with them without having to be face to face. So I would definitely say the easiest thing is an Audible. And then maybe you listen to books that they recommend. Like Jen was saying, like take recommendations from your team. You never know what gifts and talents your team members have that they haven't shared with you because maybe they're intimidated. So, all right, Jen, we're moving to number 2. What is number 2?
So number 2 is going to be prioritizing your actions. And this is really great. This is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart because I am somewhat of a list maker. I love planners. I love doing all these things, but I am also a self-aware that consistency is an area that I struggle with. So I get the planner and I'm super excited about the planner and I want to set it up and make it look pretty, but then I fail to write in it every single day and actually use it for what it's meant to be used for. So definitely ordering out your day, right? So figuring out what are your highest and best. Jana talks about this we did our summer series. I want to make sure that you guys remember that last year in 2021, we did a summer series in July, August, and September. And the tips that we're taking are from one of the modules that you guys have access to if you're a member of HSRA in your portal, that is maximizing productivity. So if you want to go in here, Jana, kind of go through this whole entire training, you can definitely do that as well. But really ordering your day. So thinking about what are the main things that you need to get done. What is your highest and best as a person? Are you the business owner? Are you the manager? Are you a team member? What are you slated to do within this 8-hour day? And then figure out, order those things. And she talked about time blocking, the importance of time blocking, the importance of we've always talked about, and I don't know, I'm probably dating myself, but the multitasking in like the 80s and 90s was the big thing. Like if you could put the fact that you can multitask on your resume, that was golden nugget right there. Well, now the big catchphrase is actually monotasking. So
Oh,
being able to, yeah, I know. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like,
you know a
okay.
new
So it's monotasking. And so people actually buy these little square cubes that are a timer, and that I see them all over the place on like TikTok and Instagram. But they put their headphones on, they go in their zone, they set their timer for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, and they're going to monotask. They have one goal, one task that they're going to work on and complete. And that's huge, because then you can get to the end of the day and you can feel like, I got this and this and this accomplished. And maybe
Yeah,
they weren't like monumental things, but you were able to complete a task, which in our industry is hard because you're constantly being pulled by squirrels and getting derailed and everything else. So basically just knowing your day, knowing what you have to get done, prioritizing those actions. And then we cannot stress enough the importance of pre-planning. So taking that time the night before, whether it's 15 or 20 minutes, to prepare for the next day and prioritize those things that you need to get done. And then taking time at the end of the day to figure out what maybe is still lagging and kind of put that on priority one for the next day, right? So
for sure.
prioritizing your actions, buying your planners, using your planners, and then just staying consistent and showing up for yourself every day. Jana says, if it's not written, it's not real. We need to be able to get those thoughts out of our mind and put them on paper or on digital or whatever works best for you. But get into the habit of doing this on a daily basis, and it will make you more productive.
For sure. Raise your hand if you love to check off your tasks. Like, I feel so accomplished if I can do a check mark and like I have my little journal
This is
here. Yep.
my
Me and Jennifer,
highlights.
we're writer downers. I know Jill, she's on maternity leave, but when she comes back, she always gives me a hard time. One time I was on my phone editing a video for HSRA for a reel or something, and she said, "Are you using a stylus?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Oh my gosh, that's like so old lady, right?" And I was like, "Well, it's so much easier. You know, I got the nails." And like, I'm like, so yeah, but you can get I know Jennifer has probably a million different journals, but one that I use every day is the 10X. And you write the goal, the quote of the day, your targets, your success, and then you write your goals out by hour. So that would be the what'd you call it, Jen?
Monotasking.
Monotasking. So literally they have 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 p.m. to later. So that could also, obviously this journal is for your whole day, but knowing that, and then also crafting your own for your staff in their different departments. Like Model My Home does money in the morning. We're going to get that money in the morning. We're making the follow-up phone calls. We're making sure they receive the contracts. They're seeing if they have any more questions. We're reaching out, following up. We're getting that money in the morning, right? And then in the afternoon, the other things are. So how can you create a task board or, a priority action? And then also, I want to stress too, it is really important for the leader of the business owner, the office manager, whatever you call that person, to be able to teach the staff how to prioritize, right? So if a staff member comes in and they're like, "Oh, I got to go do this thing in the warehouse," and your rule is money in the morning and they're on sales or client care, they have to know that that thing in the warehouse or whatever that is has to wait until later, like, because that's how you prioritize. So it's one thing to have priority actions, but it's another thing that you teach them what trumps something else. Is this bringing in money? Is this what you're supposed to be doing? So you want to make sure that you articulate that. And that just goes back to your processes and procedures. I know a lot of times when you're in your business, you're like, "Oh yeah, I meant to write those. Oh yeah, I was going to do that." You really do need to do that. If you need help with that, you can always reach out to us. That's what we're here to do, is help you get those things together. Okay, so what is number 3?
Well, number 3 feeds right into that prioritize actions with end of day reports. So, like I was saying, just taking 15 minutes or so every day in the evening to prepare for the next day is huge. But wrapping up your day and kind of putting a bow on it is huge for your mental health, for your emotional health. When you leave, you know, we hear all the time people talking about work-life balance and being able to kind of have this, you know, flow of going from work into your second job or whatever when you get home, right? But really, I love that Sharon Lecter, who's going to be our keynote speaker for the summit this year, she talks about one big life. She talks about us being able to integrate our work and our personal life kind of together to where neither one of them take over, but you just live. You have one big life and you live. And so being able to put a bow at the end of your day and wrap it up with an end of day report is huge. And it's huge for your team. And it helps you to know when you're winning. It helps you to know, did I get my tasks completed? The things that I wanted to get done. And let's be real, a lot of days we don't get to check all those boxes off because life happens, right? So, what things do we need to carry over into the next day? And what priority do those need to take? You're not going to know unless you do this end of day report. And it's going to
Yeah.
help you be able to determine your stats. It's going to help you if you have stats for your sales, like Model My Home has a certain amount of money in every day or a certain amount of new reach outs every day or whatever that case may be. That's a tangible stat that somebody can look at, and they don't have to say, am I a good person? Am I a good employee? Am I a good whatever? No, they're measured by numbers. They're measured by tasks, and they can say, I was supposed to make 20 calls today. Did I make 20 calls? Yes or no? If I didn't make 20 calls, then it gives me an opportunity to say, well, what happened today? And is this a consistent thing that continues to happen? So end of day reports are huge, not just for you, but for your team to be able to self-manage. Nobody wants to have a micromanaging manager, right? I have been there. I have had the micromanaging manager. And it's a much better environment for you, for your business, and for your team if your team can self-manage. And end of
Yeah.
day reports are a huge way for them to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I'm going to go through our office one real quick. And if you want a copy of this, we do ours in job form. All of our staff have on their calendar the link to do that, or they have it in, in their personal email, what the link is. So super easy. Trello card, you can put whatever, but these are the things that we ask. And if this inspires you or helps you, please reach out. I'll screenshot this and give it to you so you can come up with your own ideas. But we have our daily number goals. This is at the end of the day. So we also have a beginning of a day report, what our goals are for the day that our staff fills out. So our number goals are people number goals, units. So that could be how many, stages did you sell, and our financial, how much money we want to make. So how many people do we reach out to? How many units did we sell? And what was that financial goal? So we put those in there. And then the next question is, did I hit my PUF number goal? That's that people, units, and financial. And our answers are yes, people, yes, units, yes, financial, or not today. You don't want to make your staff feel like they are a loser, but we also want to hold them accountable, basically. The next portion of our end of day report is your quick actions and biggest wins. So those are quick things that you did. Made a quick follow-up call, or because I made this follow-up call or touched base with the client I had talked to. And if you don't know, you should be following up with clients as old as 2 years ago. So I just called, Johnny, the realtor, and we hadn't talked to him in a year. And guess what? It led to us getting a job in. So, and then you have your big actions and wins. So did you hit all your PUF goals? Did you, close a certain deal? Did the logistics teams kill it? Did the staging team kill it? Like, what is your overall big actions and wins? And then we have reflection time. As cheesy as it can sound, I think it's really important for your staff to have a reflection moment of the day. One of the things when I first came on 6 years ago is every day we had to give good news, like in our morning alignment, right? And it was so hard for me. Literally, I had a really long drive to the office and I would be racking my brain every day to what is my good news that happened in the last 12 hours. Like, I don't know, but it was a reflective time for me and it was great. So any big challenges, the next question is any big challenges I faced today. So what was that? Maybe a logistics team came and maybe the realtor changed the locks on the doors and didn't tell anybody, or maybe the stager's late, or maybe logistics is late. Maybe the homeowner wants to be in the house while you're staging. Hello, how many times has that happened? What was that big challenge? And then the next question is, was the challenge resolved? If not, what solutions can I offer to resolve it? This is huge. This is empowering your employees to solve their own problems. And we always teach that for employees, when they come to the owner, they have to have 2 solutions for whatever they're complaining to us about, right? So whatever that, is, I don't know off the top of my head, but what would you do in this situation if you were in charge, right? Because that empowers them, especially if you use their suggestion, then they're really gung-ho. And so it also gives the supervisor or owner who reviews these reports an idea of what's happening. Where's the breakdown? Why wasn't it communicated to the owner that they can't be there while we're staging? Like, that helps us as well. The next question is, was there a significant positive experience I had today? Maybe, we hear this all the time in our staff at Model My Home, is they're giving kudos to each other. This person really handled this person really well. They were kind of difficult, or the logistics team killed it today at getting out of the warehouse and getting everything done, or whatever that is. So you want to make sure you have that. And then you can report those in your next morning alignment, like shout outs or give a gold star to them. I don't know. And then big actions for tomorrow. This goes back to our last point of writing out your goals for the day, being productive, having, your day set is what do you have to do tomorrow? So when they leave the office at the end of the day, their last thought before leaving the office is, I'm ready and set up for tomorrow. And then the last part is just looking back on the day with this scorecard. How accomplished do you feel that you won today? And you give it up to a 5-star. And that, again, is going to help your management, you as the business owner know if your employee is giving a 1 star every day, that's probably a little conversation that needs to happen, a little course correction that might need to happen. So, all right, what are we on now, Jennifer? Number 2 or 4?
No, actually, we're on number 4. And this is encourage.
I like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're really 4 in my head. Go ahead.
Encourage to celebrate. Encourage to celebrate. So you've prioritized your actions, you've gone through the day, you've done your end of day report, and now we want to encourage you to celebrate those wins. And we want you to encourage your team to celebrate those wins. So take time to celebrate your wins. And they don't have to be huge, monumental things. To celebrate the everyday, like, we got 1 job in the door. We had 1 great conversation. 1 great conversation can lead to who knows what, right? And so that is a win. And so encouraging your team to celebrate their wins. And so I can always just give examples for Model My Home, but so in Model My Home, they have this little bell that Stephen ordered. Stephen is our head over our sales and production team. And he ordered these little bells back in 2020, whenever we were going through COVID and everything was crazy. And let's be real, like, jobs were kind of scarce. And, it was hard to find places that were letting people stage, or even realtors were able to go in and show houses. And so he ordered these little bells that are yellow that have the little smiley face on them. And every time we would get a job in the door, he would ping the bell. So now everybody within Model My Home is so trained that when they hear that bell ping, even if it's an accidental ping, everybody goes, woohoo! Whoever's in the office, they don't even know. They just hear the bell and they start celebrating. So, I mean, it's the littlest things. And that was something that Stephen, as our team member, took upon himself to order those. We didn't order them. He wanted to have a tangible way to celebrate his own wins. But the impact of him doing that 2 years later is making an impact on team members that are brand new that weren't even there whenever he first did that. So think about how even the smallest changes or the smallest ways that you can celebrate your team, or they can celebrate each other or celebrate themselves. Lori, I know you did stuff with HSRA as well around Summit when we were getting everything ramped up, and we kind of have our own thing for HSRA as well.
We dance at HSRA. I'm just letting you know. So you remember, but Summit, our biggest event of the year, it's a lot of work. Let me tell you, right now our team's pretty big. We're sitting at about 12 people. We have half virtual, half staff in like, I guess, in office staff or whatever, even though we are remote. And we put on the whole big giant conference to like videos, and I mean, the topics, we're reaching out to vendors. We're getting, vendors in so that you can meet them, the sponsors at our event. We're getting speakers. We're doing it. Jen is like on the phone, booking the rooms, getting the food. How much does this cost? What's on the menu? Who can eat this? Who can do that? Like, we're doing all of it, right? And so it takes a whole village, literally, to put on an event as big as our staging and design conference is. And so I just decided, like, every time either a vendor signs up, someone buys a ticket, I literally awkwardly make our whole staff that's on Zoom dance to Happy by Hero. And we all dance. And at first, some of the people were shy and they were like, woo. And I was like, nope, we're not moving on to the day until I see you get some movement. And now it's the same thing. So every once in a while, if something comes in or whatever, even though it's not based necessarily around our summit, which is coming up, don't forget to get your tickets. I'll still play that song because I am happy. I'm so happy that we can help people. I'm so happy that my staff, and it does take the whole staff, like just because Steven gets to ring his bell, that doesn't mean that it didn't take the experience of the stagers to give a good product. It doesn't mean that, the logistics people and who they interact with and the way that they care for the furniture when they're moving it on and off the truck. Everybody wins. Like, we're all a part of it. Even if one person, like if I'm on the phone with a sponsor and I close them and they're coming and they're so excited, it wasn't just me. It was everything. It was the social media, who built our website. It's even the speakers that we have that attract other people. So it takes a whole village. So yes, implement something fun. I have heard them say, like, I've heard one time Stephen was sharing the bell on a training and then he hit it and then you could hear echoes through the hallways, like whoop whoop, which I love. That was so amazing to just funny. A bell can make people's whole attitude change. Just a bell, like ding ding, that everybody is happy. So it's amazing. But, all right, last one.
Yeah, and think about that impact on productivity. If our topic is maximizing productivity, celebration is going to increase your productivity, and having that motivation to be able to hit that bell or be able to do whatever it is that you want to be able to do. So for sure. All right. Last one is
number 5 on your list.
Follow up and feedback. So like I said, you've got to kind of wrap everything up. You've got to be able to have a plan. So like, Lori was saying, was there a challenge today? If there was a challenge, is the challenge resolved? And if it's not resolved, what would your suggestions be? This is our way of holding ourselves, of holding each other accountable to productivity and to maximizing productivity. So all of the things that we've talked about, learning, prioritizing your actions, having your beginning, your end of day reports, really encouraging each other to celebrate. All of these things don't matter if you don't follow up and do feedback and have accountability. So you need an accountability partner for yourself as the business owner. Your team needs accountability partners for each other. So whether that's you as the business owner, or you have maybe leads in each department that people can report to, and you need to be encouraging yourself and your team to find mentors outside of the business for your own personal growth, because your personal growth is just as important as your business growth. But they play off of each other. And
Yes.
so, follow up in your own life. How are you doing with accountability, with productivity? Be honest with yourself. Like I said, I'm honest with myself. I love the planners. I love to buy them, but I'm really bad about continuing to fill them out. So if you know your areas of weakness, and have somebody hold you accountable to that, so that you can.
I told Dawn, because she runs on her treadmill every morning, I was like, I have a treadmill. I step on it, one step, and step off. So I need her to hold me accountable, right? And so
Right?
don't feel afraid to reach out and ask somebody for accountability. And maybe you need us to hold you accountable. I'm so good at that. For our members, I'm like, I put it in my calendar. Today, I had a follow-up call with one of our members, and I'm like, okay, you said last week you're going to do this. Did you do it? And she did. And things are turning out perfectly for her. So sometimes it's just that text, that email, that like whatever, like, oh, okay, I need, and like Jennifer for me is like she's an accountability partner because she loves to write things in those journals, and then she puts them in her calendar, and then she's like, hey guys, is this ready? And I was like, oh man, yes, it is. Like, we're getting on it. So don't be afraid to have those people. And also your staff needs to hold each other accountable, and your clients accountable.
Yes, 100%. So that, I mean, if you do these 5 things, where this is like not like a success, you guaranteed success, because like I said, life is going to happen. Every day has its own challenges. The Bible tells us, do not worry about tomorrow, because every day has its own share of troubles, and they're going to come regardless. So you do what you can do to plan and be prepared and to be productive and to maximize your productivity. These 5 tips will definitely help you, and will help your team too.
Yeah. And also there's a social media influencer that has a channel that I follow. It's hilarious. But she talks about, yesterday I literally saw one of her posts that said, whether you stress about a situation or not, you still have the same amount of hours in the day you have, or you get the same amount of, her specific thing was like, you get the same paycheck, whether you stress out over it, or, the problem's still going to be there, whether you stress out about it over the weekend or not. So why not try each day to find the things that you're thankful for? Why not try to find the good in the people that you work with and be able to enjoy them and have fun? And it's so much easier to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to stage these 5 properties. We don't have any inventory. And then you're kind of like not joking about it, but you're kind of lighthearted about it. And then that allows the people that you're talking to, the staff, like, oh, maybe we can do this, or you know what, I think this house is going to sell. Let me follow up, close on a certain day, so let me follow up and see if we can just switch it over to this house. Like, but if you say, oh my gosh, we don't have the inventory, I don't know what we're going to do, your employees are going to think about getting a new job. The more negative, I could talk on a whole workshop Wednesday about negativity in the workplace. They are literally going to think that you're going to go out of business, that you're going to do whatever. So when you need those rant sessions where you as a business owner just need to let some air out, that's where we come in, not your staff. That will be a whole different subject, Jennifer, we could schedule for sure. So this was fun, Jennifer. I loved this topic. And so I hope that if any of you need a conversation, want to talk to us about your business and how you can make your business more productive, go to myhsra.com. You can schedule a discovery call with us. We would love to chat with you. We have several events coming up that can help you. In fact, this Sunday, we have a staging and design marketing mastermind. It's in Virginia, but if you can't fly, you can join online. So that's amazing. And then if you style short-term rentals, we have a short-term rental styling workshop coming up in Houston. That's next month. And then, of course, our big, giant, amazing staging and design conference that we cannot wait to have this year is coming up in November. And if you followed us this long, you know we always have the day before a warehouse tour. So you get to come pick through our mess and look and see how we do things. And then the next day is 2 days of conference. And then we have a mastermind on the end of that you can either do a strategy mastermind or styling and staging short-term rental mastermind. So either way, we have some events for you if you're looking to get connected with a community of like-minded people. You need someone to encourage you, maybe kick you in the butt a little bit, like I need Dawn to do, so I get on that treadmill. Luckily, though, I do not hang clothes from it. I've heard a lot of people just use that as like a chair. I don't do that, but it's still not being used like it should. So we're going to be back here next week, same time, same place. Thanks so much, Jen. Thanks for rocking it out today with your productivity tips, and we'll see you next week.